Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Matt Skraby wraps up a full day of live and local sports talk.
And that is the whole problem with aliens. You just can't trust them. Occasionally you meet a nice one, but usually they turn out to be some kind of big lizard.
The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining the Skraby Show here on 97.3 The Fan. I am going to be with you until 7 p.m. I'm Matt Skraby. You can follow me on social media, Matt Skraby, or at Matt Skraby, MATTSKRAB as in boy, Y. We are streaming live on YouTube right now, X and Facebook. So if you are interested in seeing what I look like while I flap my gums, you can go to any one of those sites and you can search for 97.3 The Fan on YouTube, and then on X and Facebook, it's just on our regular accounts. But appreciate everybody being here. It was, I got to say, somewhat of a slow news day. And there wasn't much baseball news except for the Hall of Fame, but baseball news in regards to the Padres. We'll talk about what we discussed on the Gwen and Chris show, but the Padres are have been rumored to be looking at one pitcher. If you're just tuning in, I'll tell you that, or tell you who that is in a little bit. We're also going to be talking about what Manny said on the MLB Network after Adrian Beltre was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we'll hear from Manny a little bit. I don't know that I've seen Manny do many interviews lately, so it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. And then the NFL, or I guess not the NFL, but some of the NFL writers released their all-rookie team, and we will get to that near the end of the show. But I have to start with this, and one of my things that I like to do is to be open and honest with everyone. And so even sometimes when I'm uncomfortable sharing something, I know it's for the best and I know that people can identify with it. So that's why I'm putting myself out there with this whole thing. But I want to know one thing about everybody's jobs. Before I do the show, like maybe 5:55, I know I'm switching over to the Skraby Show. I get pretty stressed, I get a little stressed and overwhelmed. And, then as I'm doing it, I realize that each and every night I really have nothing to worry about, but I don't know. I still worry. I still worry about those things, and I don't know why I do. So I'm just curious, and if anybody can make me feel better. Do you have things like that in your job that I can relay to the audience? Because I feel like everybody has that in their job. Like before radio, I used to work for a conference company. And so we would put on conferences. I would go travel the country, and I would set up the conference. I would also run the conference. So I basically was on the road 28 to 30 weeks a year. And I would always stress every single time I went to bed the night before the conference started, and it never failed. I was always stressed. Even if I was set up and ready to go, I was still very stressed. So I would really like to hear from all of you whether or not you guys are stressed about something in your job, and then you realize halfway through, you know what, it's not so bad. I actually can do this, and I don't know why I keep stressing about it. So you can reach out to me on social media at Matt Skraby, or you can go into the YouTube chat and leave what you are stressed about in your job, because there is a lot that can stress me out. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that I'm a little bit crazy sometimes and a little bit maybe high strung sometimes. So I think you can imagine that things stress me out very, very easily. I saw a comment, but I'm not going to read that comment. All right. So the news of the day tonight is, not anything related to the Padres, but I think we need to talk about some of the things that went on today just to catch everybody up on what's going on out there. And this is not one of my news stories, but Joey Gallo was signed by the Nationals. So that's the first real little bit of news. And I know that some Padres fans wanted to take a shot with him. I'm going to talk about him in just a second. But the first story would be the three players inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame: Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, and Joe Mauer. They were elected today, and we went over all of the different scenarios during Gwen and Chris. But Joe Mauer, first ballot Hall of Famer. Todd Helton finally getting in. Gary Sheffield dropping off the ballot, which is very sad. Billy Wagner, he is going to be going into his 10th year on the Hall of Fame ballot next year. So if he doesn't get the 75% vote next year, he's going to fall off the ballot. But Gary Sheffield was pretty surprising to me because of his name being linked in that report. That I know we had the discussion earlier. I don't understand why we can't put people in the Hall of Fame and just know what era that was in baseball. I don't know that it's something we need to be so serious about. Gary Sheffield, he hit over 500 home runs. And the people that are going to oppose this thought would be like, well, yeah, he hit 500 home runs because he was cheating. I think everybody was cheating back then. And I'm not saying it makes it right. Don't twist my words. But Gary Sheffield is one of the best baseball players of all time. And I think it's kind of a disservice to baseball, the younger baseball generations, that they won't really know about Gary Sheffield because no one's really going to be talking about it. And when the baseball fan says, well, why isn't Gary Sheffield in there? Then you can explain what happened and maybe they can do their own research. But every year, this is the same thing. There are people left off the ballot. And so it's not left off the ballot, but falling off the ballot, which is what Gary Sheffield. 10 years though, that's a long time to wait for something not to happen. If I were him, that would be really tough, because you think maybe, he's probably been thinking this whole time, maybe I get in, maybe I don't. But waiting 10 years and one day every single year to find out whether or not you got in the Hall of Fame is pretty insane. I gotta say that would be wrenching on the heart, I would think. Sam on the chat says Gary should go into the Hall of Fame based on his batting stance alone. I agree with that. That is one of the best batting stances of all time. I remember when I was in Little League, I tried to emulate his batting stance, and my coach immediately said, hey, no, you should not do that. But it worked for Gary. It works for Gary Sheffield. So, all right, that's it for that news story with the 3 going into the Hall of Fame. The second one is the Bucks firing their first-year head coach, Adrian Griffin. And now we've talked about this several times on the show already, but I would have to say that things are going to be coming out about this. Aspects of this are going to be coming out about this. And so right before Tony left the studio, he did say that he had heard, or he was reading from an article, that the coach, Adrian Griffin, lost the team all the way back in the play-in tournament. And so I don't know how a team gets so far out or goes so far out on their coach so early. I mean, he hasn't even been with the team for more than 45 games, and it's his first season. But I guess it was such a drastic thing that was happening within the locker room and within the front office that the Bucks needed to make that make that move right then, and because things weren't getting better. Now, if the team was out on him, then I understand why that would make it really, really hard for you not to let him go in the middle of his first year. But it's something that I think I would like to see if maybe the players just didn't think he was pushing them in the right way. Because the older I get, the more I realize that the way you handle things and the way you handle people is incredibly important. Like when I was in college, one size fits all type thing. You can handle everybody the same way. These are the rules and you stick to it. But really, to be effective and to be successful, you have to, it's just something you have to be pushed. And so I'm wondering what the players are going to say about everything. I am admittedly not the biggest NBA expert out there, so I wasn't really sure about this Adrian Griffin firing, but the more I listened to it, it just seems like the front office didn't like it, so they had to make a change, and he wasn't dealing with his team in the right way. So we'll see what happens with that, but man, that was pretty crazy. I gotta say, when I woke up this morning and I saw that was, kind of surprising, very surprising. Did I know who Adrian Griffin was when I woke up today? Probably heard his name or read about his name a few times, but no, I didn't really know that Adrian Griffin was the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's not like they're losing a Hall of Fame coach or anything like that. The third and final news of the day is actually something big. We talk about streaming on the show a lot. And the reason we talk about streaming on the show a lot is because that's where everything's going. Streaming is going towards, or sports is going towards streaming, and live streaming is going to be the wave of the future, as they say. So WWE, the World Wrestling Entertainment, they announced today that Netflix and WWE have reached a 10-year, $5 billion deal to exclusively stream Raw on Netflix. Now, this starts in 2025, but a 10-year, $5 billion deal for 1 day a week is a ton to pay Netflix. Now, I've been reading some of the different thoughts on why Netflix is taking this on. Number one, they want subscribers. And so they're going to try to bring in the WWE fans to pay for the subscription to get to see Raw. I know on Peacock, they have the WWE Network, and you can watch like all of the old matches. You can watch a ton of stuff about the WWE on Peacock. So I would assume Netflix is trying to lure those people over because they probably, I would assume, don't have multiple streaming services. But if you're a WWE fan, the place to be was Peacock. So now Netflix is trying to get them to come over. But this is going to accelerate, I think, how we're viewing sports in the future. I definitely think that this is going to make the eyes of the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA all open up, because WWE, say what you want to say about it, it's very popular. I'm not discrediting the popularity of WWE, but I didn't know that they were $5 billion. They were able to spend $5 billion on a 10-year deal with Netflix. And Netflix, I didn't think would ever get $5 billion to stream Raw. So the NFL could make double this easy for a 10-year deal. And this is just going to, as I said, accelerate everything. Everything's going to become the race to who gets the best position, because it's not always about getting getting on the streaming service first. It's about where you're positioned. Netflix is a great streaming service. Lots of people watch it. Lots of people use it. So the 10-year, $5 billion deal, they're going to get in front of a lot of people. But if you're in other streaming services, like I know when Pat McAfee, actually, when he went to FanDuel, they were trying to start up their sports talk TV station. And FanDuel just didn't work out. And they paid him a lot of money to bring his talents over to FanDuel. And so if you're a sport, if you're the NFL, you're going to have your pick of where you go. But if you're trying to get in the right place, I would wait just a little bit to make sure you know exactly where the right place is, because something like FanDuel TV, I could totally see WWE going to FanDuel, or FanDuel paying to have them on to get more users, but it wouldn't be the right place because no one would know it's there. And so that is that's a crazy deal, I gotta say. That was an interesting news story to wake up this morning. But $5 billion in 10 years to Netflix from the WWE. Let's see what's going on in the chat. If you want to chat us, go to chat me, go to YouTube and type in 97.3 The Fan. And Diesel said Netflix should just buy the Padres TV rights. Yeah, you might not be so wrong about that. Dominic says, I don't mind streaming. Just make sure the app isn't trash. Paramount app for football is garbage. I got to say, Dominic, when I was watching over the weekend the AFC divisional game between the Chiefs and the Bills, I wanted to watch on my phone, and I had major issues trying to get the game to stream. And I stream all the time, and I've used Paramount before, so I don't know why it wasn't streaming, but it was a big pain for me, and I went back to traditional TV to watch. Diesel says Amazon Video app is pretty trash too. Yeah, Amazon is not good. I'm not really that big of a fan of the Amazon app. I don't feel like they have great selections either. They have a lot of old movies, but their new shows I'm not really into. And some of the movies that they have on there, I'm not really into. I would say on the list of streaming services where I go first, I would think that Prime Video's maybe like fifth, because I'm not a big fan of their selection. I do watch it every once in a while. And, of course, I watch it for Thursday Night Football. But that's all that we're going to be talking about is the sports on the apps. And so will I go to Prime to watch a sport? Yes. And it's been proven that many other people will as well. But it's not a good experience. It's it's not an easy experience. It needs to be a lot more streamlined. There needs to be less steps involved. And also, I don't want to sign up for every single app. I don't want to have to give my email for every single app out there just so I can watch a game. And I know that's data collection and I know that's what they're going for, but it's just annoying to have to sign up and give my email out to everyone. But that's what we're doing now. And that is what that's going to be something that you're dealing with sooner rather than later. So get ready. Don't be like Chris. Taking shots at Chris while he can't even hear me. Don't be like Chris and be scared of streaming. There's nothing to be scared about, I promise. Streaming is actually the way to go. I really love streaming. It's easy. It's on my phone. I like to walk the dogs. I like to walk Lucky and watch some NFL games or watch some Padres games. I actually walk. I love it. I'm going way off tangent here. I love it actually when the Padres are playing a day game on the East Coast and the game starts at 9 or something like that, because then I get to walk the dog and I get to listen to Padres baseball on the Odyssey app. And that is makes me go for a little bit longer walk. I remember listening to Tony and Jesse on one of my walks, and I just kept walking because I was so entrenched in their conversation. And I realized that I need to turn around and walk the 2 miles back, which was not very fun. So 4 miles round trip, but going back is never as easy as going there. Anyway, like I said, getting off track. I'm Matt Skraby. This is the Skraby Show here on 97.3 The Fan. When we get back, I have some thoughts about Joey Gallo and why I'm not worried about the Padres not signing him. And also, Manny Machado was on MLB Network earlier talking about Adrian Beltre. So we'll hear a couple things from him. And we still have, a lot of fun to go. The Daily Gripe at the end of the show. We have our all-rookie team from CBS Sports. So all of that is coming up when we get back here on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't have time to listen to an entire fan talk show? The Odyssey app's chaptering feature allows you to skip
All right, I got to clear something up real quick because I don't think I was clear enough, and I appreciate Mark for letting me know. Matt Skraby here on the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan, but I guess I wasn't clear, but Netflix is paying WWE, which is why the NFL and the NBA is like, well, we would love for you to pay us $5 billion. So just wanted to clear that up. Thank you, Mark. I don't want to make it seem like WWE was paying Netflix because WWE definitely does not need the help. But if Netflix is willing to pay them that, what are they willing to pay for an NFL game or something like that? So thank you, Mark. Now, the Aztecs are underway at Viejas Arena right now playing Wyoming. They're up by 1. They just took the score away, but I believe it was 13-12. I'll get you that in just a second because it's, 13-12 Aztecs with 12:30 left to go. So I'll keep you up to date on that as well. But I said I would give you some thoughts about why I'm not worried about the Padres not signing Joey Gallo. He was signed for $5 million by the Nationals. This is the last number I saw. But I also saw some Padres fans like, why aren't the Padres going after guys like this? He has a name. Obviously he's a major league player. I personally am not the biggest bring Joey Gallo to the Padres guy. And the biggest argument, I guess, would be he's available. He's affordable at $5 million. The Padres are looking for affordable players. So why wouldn't they go after him? And I'm not worried about the Padres not going after Joey Gallo because I already know what Joey Gallo can do. It's not even about him being affordable. It's not even about him making $5 million. It's about what he's going to bring to the team. And I have zero idea what he would bring to the team. It's been a struggle for him. He had some good years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But it's been a huge struggle for Joey Gallo ever since he went to New York. That wasn't very good. And so, it's just something I don't understand. I'm not sure why Padres fans want Joey Gallo so much. He strikes out a lot. He doesn't have a great average. He can hit a home run, yeah. But I feel like we've been down this road, and we saw this a little bit last year of just guys not performing at the plate. So that's why I'm not worried about the Padres passing on Joey Gallo for $5 million, even if he's affordable. I think he would bring more headache than anything. And it's not bashing the guy, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it, especially with all the other things that they need. He does play outfield as well, but I don't actually know how good of an outfielder he is. But if anybody's out there and can tell me why Joey Gallo would be a good fit for the Padres, let me know. I got a tweet earlier when I first started this show. I said that I get nervous before every show because I'm not sure how it's going to go. And I get stressed out and I get overwhelmed like 5 minutes before the show. And then as the show goes along, I'm like, all right, this is fine. This is okay. I'm going to be fine, obviously. And it happens every time. I work myself up over a lot of things. And then I realize it's not that big of a deal and I move on with my day. And I don't know why I can't just not be nervous before the show, or not that it's nervous. It's just like, oh man, I got an hour. What am I going to talk about? Even though I know what I'm going to talk about. But I got a reply from M. Booher5 saying, hey, Matt, every time I'm observed in my classroom by a new principal, I always get a little nervous. I've been teaching for over 30 years, so I understand. I understand that as well, because I used to work at a bank way back when, before, like during college. And so I was a teller. And it would make me so nervous when my boss would come and stand behind me. It was like, I would always think that I was doing something wrong if I didn't offer the customer something, like a product, or if I didn't make their transaction efficient enough. I was always worried I was going to get something wrong. And I never really got anything wrong, but still nerve-wracking. So I understand why you would be nervous after teaching for 30 years. That's definitely a long time. And thank you for teaching. Because I know that my mom, my sister, we have a lot of teachers in my family, and they go through a lot. Teachers have a really hard job, but if you're a teacher and you're still teaching and you love teaching, it's a rewarding job. I've seen both sides of it. I've seen the sides of how bad it can be, and I've seen the sides of how good it can be because, my mom, she teaches younger kids. So they go off to high school and then then after high school, they're going to college maybe. But my mom always loves it when a student is like a senior in high school or a freshman in college and they reach out and they say, thanks for, teaching me and all that stuff. And that's rewarding. But man, do I got to say, some parents out there are tough to deal with. Definitely tough to deal with. So if you're a parent out there and you're giving teachers a hard time, please stop. Teachers already have it hard enough. All right, Manny Machado was on MLB Network earlier today, and so he was on for Adrian Beltre because he was elected into the Hall of Fame. But I just want to play a little bit of this for you because I don't know. I can't remember the last time I heard from Manny since last season, and I know he's making a return into. Or he's trying to rehab so he can make a return to the team at some point in the first couple months of the year. But here's Manny Machado on MLB Network.
I mean, first off, I want to congratulate Beltre. What a amazing career. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer. I know myself, a bunch of players around the league always admire him, look up to him. He's a player that we all wanted to be. So, it was truly a blessing to play alongside him, play with him in the Dominican Republic national team, watch him play and learn from him as well. So now seeing him in the Hall of Fame it's amazing. I love every bit of it. Another Dominican to the Hall of Fame. So mucha bendición, hermano. Felicidades. And, what an amazing career he had. But yeah, I mean, he's like I just said, I mean, he's an unbelievable player. He's a talent. For myself, I looked up to him. I was a shortstop growing up, came out through the minor leagues as a shortstop, didn't know anything about their base. So what did I do? I mean, first thing I did was go watch Adrian Beltre highlights. And, from his sick backhand plays to slow rollers coming up, getting down on one knee, falling down to the ground, making those throws, just trying to imitate as best as you can to try to do the Beltre. And obviously that cannon he had as an arm was one of the best in the game, or if not the best ever. So
that was Manny Machado talking about Adrian Beltre at MLB Network. I just reposted that or retweeted that. If you would like to watch the full video, there's another 2 minutes left. You can go to my Twitter at Matt Skraby and look for that. But it's kind of fun to hear from Manny. That means baseball season's coming back. I got to say, I've been looking at this video this whole time to see if I could see anything on his elbow, and I don't see anything, so that's good as well. But Manny talking about Adrian Beltre, it just kind of like, while that video was playing, I was thinking, is Manny Machado like a lock for Hall of Fame? And I think he is. By the time he's done playing, he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. But one day we're going to be talking about Manny Machado in the Hall of Fame. And I think we're going to be talking about Manny Machado in the Hall of Fame as a Padre. Now, obviously, he's going to go down as playing with the Padres the longest. But it can't be, in regards to the upcoming season, it can't be understated how important it is for him to contribute as soon as he gets back. I think they'll be okay leading up to him returning, but they need his bat in a big way, and they need him back at third base in a big way. Just so they can open up the infield a little bit. And I think that Manny is going to be motivated to return to a high level. And I think that Manny Machado is going to have a better rest of his career than he did last year. I think last year was a down year, as we all probably do. And even in a down year, he was pretty good. He missed time. He was playing through injury. Things just didn't go well for the entire team last year. But Manny Machado is, I believe, going to return to form this season. Manny Machado is very young, too. I don't know if anybody understands how old he is and how much time he has left. I'm looking it up real quick just to make sure I know. He's born in 1992, so he's 30. He's almost 32. He turns 32 July 6th, and that's low miles on a baseball player. I mean, low miles for most baseball players. Manny Machado has lots of miles on his legs, but I think he'll be fine, and I think he has many more productive years to go. And I'm looking forward to getting him back. I'm definitely looking forward to getting him back. So anyway, I'm looking at the chat. Everybody's very excited about Manny. Crazy that Manny's stats were considered bad last year. Best year for some players. That is really true. Best year for some players for sure. Just SD Manny Dre, LFGSD, Manny with the heart. Everybody loving up on Manny here. So that's what's going on with him. It was, again, good to hear from him. Know that he's, making his way back towards the Padres at some point. All right, you're listening to the Skraby Show here on 97.3 The Fan. I'm Matt Skraby. If you want to see that full video, you can go to my Twitter at Matt Skraby and watch the rest of his comments about Adrian Beltre. The NFL playoffs and Super Bowl are available free from Westwood One and live here on 97.3 The Fan and on the Odyssey app. This Sunday at noon, the AFC Championship game with the Ravens hosting the I did it again. I read into the mistake. Ravens hosting the Chiefs, followed at 3:30 with the 49ers hosting the Lions in the NFC Championship right here on 97.3 The Fan, or simply download the Odyssey app and search for 97.3 The Fan at kickoff. We get back. 2 names that the Padres are apparently looking into, and I'm going to tell you why they should look the other way. That's next on 97.3 The Fan.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Now, I guess the good news is that yesterday was the worst of it. Today's going to be fine.
final segment of the Skraby Show for tonight, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Matt Skraby. Thank you for joining. If you would like to watch on YouTube the final segment or any night going forward, you can. You can just go to YouTube and type in 97.3 The Fan. Look for the live section there, and you will find me and all the other shows on the station. All of the shows now broadcast on YouTube and in some form broadcast online. So includes Bennett Woods. They were the ones who started it. And then you got Annie and Elston who are doing it now. And you have the Braden Soprano show on the weekends who does it. You have this show. You have Gwen and Chris. So everything now is all the shows are streamed on 97.3 The Fan. So appreciate everybody who's in the chat right now and appreciate everybody who's listening. I can't believe that I forgot to bring this up in the beginning of the show, but Michael King, the highly sought after pitcher that the Padres traded Juan Soto to the Yankees for, and also other guys as well. I'm not going to say it's just Michael King. Well, he was being interviewed by the New York media, and he kind of said this to us, to Tony and I, when we talked to him a few weeks ago. But he said that Juan Soto is one of the top 3 players in the game right now, but he believes that the Padres got the better end of the deal. So this is nothing new for us if you listen to that interview. But I love what I'm hearing. So here's what it says in the New York Post. This is from Michael King. I continue to praise AJ Preller and be confident in saying I feel like the Padres won the trade. I feel like the talent we've gotten, I was shocked to see the Yankees part with that many people. Obviously, it's Juan Soto, so you have to give up a big package, but I was pumped to see who was coming with me to San Diego. I know they're going to contribute this year and for years to come. So I love everything I've heard from Michael King ever since he came to town, ever since the interview that we had. He's saying all of the right things, and I believe him. I believe that he believes those things that he's talking about. Michael King, I think, is going to make people, well, I hope. I can't say I think, but I hope Michael King and co. that came over from the Yankees are going to make it easier to handle the trading of Juan Soto. I mean, I've moved past it. Again, I've talked about it in the past about how it was very unfortunate and strange they didn't get more time with Juan Soto after moving the entire world for him. But, it is what it is. You move on. But Michael King, when he was on the air with Tony and I asked him what it's like to be the guy in a trade, like the central guy in a trade. And he said to us that he doesn't like to think about it like that because all of the players are good at coming over, which is a great answer from him. But he makes a point that the Yankees sent a lot of players back to the Padres. The Yankees wanted Juan Soto very bad. And so they sent back Kyle Higashioka. They sent back Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, and prospect Drew Thorpe. I would have to think, because of all the rumors that we heard about trying to make the deal for Michael King, or the Yankees trying to acquire Juan Soto, is that the Yankees didn't want to give up all this. And so to tell you, or to make you realize how important Juan Soto is to them, they were willing to give up 5 players for Juan Soto. And I forget that Trent Grisham went in that trade as well. But I feel like Michael King and those other players are going to like playing here better than New York. I can't say that for sure because Michael King, I believe, is an East Coast guy, and he may even be a New York guy, but it's a whole different world when you come play out here. It's not like the Yankees and Yankee Stadium and everybody who is, I guess Joey Gallo was in right field and the Yankees fans were just trashing him all the time, even though he plays for the same team. But I'm looking forward to it. As Tony said today, things are getting closer to baseball. I almost said football. Things are getting closer to baseball, and things are going to be heating up here real soon. February 11th is when the pitchers and catchers report for the Padres, because they are leaving a little bit earlier. Most teams are around the 15th or the 16th, but the Padres are going to show up a little bit early because of their start in Korea. All right, the Aztecs are going to have to make up a little tiny deficit. It's 32-27. Wyoming is leading with just under 4 minutes to go, and the Aztecs have just taken a timeout. So again, I will be keeping you up to date on that, but Aztecs trail 5 points right now. They need to pick up the slack if they're going to cover, because they were 17.5-point favorites. They're not going to cover if they win. If they're going the way they are, it's going to be a close game. Don't like that, because I already lost a bet for the 15th time today earlier when I said that. Yeah, Sex are going to cover. Even though Tony said Wyoming was going to win. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm talking to myself at this point. Really talking to myself. Oh, New York, Mike 8. You would know Michael King from Rochester, New York. So there you go. He is a New York guy, but I think he's going to like it here. I told you about two guys that the Padres are supposedly in on, rumored to be in on. And when I say in on, I mean that they're at a bullpen session for these two guys. Michael Lorenzen and Noah Syndergaard threw bullpen sessions for about 16 teams in California today, sources are saying. Both players, I guess, impressed. That's what they're telling us. Consistently, Syndergaard was sitting at 93 to 95 miles an hour. But Syndergaard is coming off a season in which he posted a 6.50 ERA in 88 and 2/3 innings with the Dodgers and the Guardians. And I think that his deal would be very cheap. I think that his deal would be attractive to the Padres because they have the pitching whisperer in Ruben Niebla. But I feel like we already know what we're going to get with Noah Syndergaard or Michael Lorenzen. Michael Lorenzen had a tough, after he threw his no-hitter for the Phillies last year, he had a tough rest of his year. And Noah Syndergaard has been moving to many different teams. Not many, but he's been moving around baseball, trying to find the team and trying to find what he was able to do before in his career. But as a 31-year-old, I know he's had Tommy John surgery, maybe even twice. I'm not completely sure on that. I would say the Padres are better off on not bringing him in, because when you bring him in, I have to assume that you're counting him as a part of the rotation, which last year it was not something that teams were willing to do. We'll put him in the rotation. He was either an opener or he was like a mop-up guy when the games were out of hand. But I kind of feel like at this point in the offseason, if they were to sign Noah Syndergaard as like kind of one of their not big signings, definitely not big signings, but it would be concerning to me in this way. That these are the guys that they're looking at, and those are not the guys, in my opinion, that are going to win you championships, are not going to lead you to the playoffs. If they brought in a guy like Noah Syndergaard, who's 31 years old, so he's got time left, I would think they would have to give him a good long go because they brought him in, and I don't know how much good it would do for the team. So I don't think that they're going to bring in Noah Syndergaard. But obviously, they have to go up there. They have to check it out. They have to do all of that. And so that's what they did. But I'm not even really saying that Michael Lorenzen is a part of this. And I should, because they would have to watch both of them. You never know. They could come home with a pitcher. But I doubt either of these two would really make an impact on the team right away or even throughout the year. They may help the team, but I don't think they're going to make a huge impact. Not for what you want them to, not for what the Padres need. I know we haven't really seen the final roster yet. I know that we haven't seen what AJ Preller has up his sleeve, but sitting here right now, talking about Noah Syndergaard completing your rotation or being a part of this bullpen is not exciting to me, and it makes me not feel like I'm in a good place with the Padres. And I think that, like I said, I don't think that they're going to bring him in. They had to check him out, but I would be concerned because those names are not the names that I want to bring into my team. And it's not because I think he's terrible. He just hasn't been effective for any team that he's been playing with here as of late. So in the last couple of years, Dodgers let him go. Guardians let him go. I think he was with the Phillies. They let him go. So it's not like he came from one team and this is his second team and you might still have stuff left in the tank, but multiple teams are trying to distance themselves from him. And that tells me a lot. It really does. It tells me a lot. All right. Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. Matt Skraby here. You can follow me again on Twitter at Matt Skraby. The Aztecs are losing right now, 32-28. Wyoming leading, 3 minutes left in the first half. But we're going to finish the show with our daily gripe. And I'm going to name some of the all rookies that CBS Sports put together because there were some really good rookie performances this year in the NFL. And I thought it would be fun to talk about some of these names because I believe some of these names are going to be guys that are going to contribute for a very long time. So on offense, quarterback CJ Stroud, He's going to contribute with the Texans. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. Those are two big names. Wide receiver Jordan Addison for the Vikings and Puka Nacua from the Rams. Jordan Addison had a really strong middle part of the year, and I think he kind of faded down the stretch, but fully believe he's going to be even better next year. Tight end Sam Laporta for the Lions. He was great for them and still is. Center Joe Tippmann from the New York Jets. I'm going to be honest, I don't know about the New York Jets center situation, but apparently he was very good. Same with the guards. Steve Avila and Osiris Torrance are two of the guards for the all-rookie team. And then the tackles, Dawan Jones and Darnell Wright, Browns and Bears. Browns and Bears. And then on the defense side, you still got some big names. Will Anderson Jr., Jalen Carter, Kobe Turner, Tuli Tuipulotu. I think I said it right. Jack Campbell is a linebacker. Ivan Pace, Byron Young, Joey Porter Jr., Devin Witherspoon, Jordan Battle, Jair Brown. So those are the defensive all-rookie players of the year. And then for the special teams, kicker Jake Moody for the 49ers, punter Bryce Behringer for the Patriots. And I love it when the punter gets an award like this, because you know the team was really bad because they had a lot of numbers, which means they punted a lot. Kick returner Marvin Mims Jr., punt returner Darius Davis of the Chargers. There you go, one. And then the core special teamer Jarek Reed II. I'm not sure what a core special teamer is. I think it's just probably one of those guys who goes down and tackles people. Goes down in like maybe a gunner. I think that's what they call him on the outside. Speaking of that position, the one position I always never wanted to do on the scout team in high school when I played high school football was be the guy on the outside on a punt that had to be jammed by two guys on the outside, because you always get pushed to the ground and you always get pushed out of bounds, and it's just a brutal position. So I think that's what they're talking about when they say core special teams player. All right, coming to the end. I can't decide whether or not I want to do my daily gripe now or if I want to do it a little bit later. But let's do it now because I think I could go for it. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone here, is what Tony would say. But the daily gripe today, by the way, we're getting music, we're getting sounders, all this stuff. It's going to all come together here in the next week or so. But the daily gripe for today is lotto people. And I'm not just saying like Powerball. I'm not just trying to say Mega Millions, because I play those things from time to time. And if you've ever heard Chris talk about the lotto, he hates the lotto. And he thinks it's dumb, and he thinks that you're just donating money to, the lotto people. Well, if you go into like, I don't know, a convenience store and you get stuck behind one of these lotto people, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And I was in a convenience store earlier today, and I just wanted to get in and get out, but I had a lotto person in front of me. And so this specific lotto person is someone who was doing scratchers. And I've done scratchers in the past. Haven't done it in a long time because I'm trying to watch my money, and I know it's kind of a waste of money. There's something fun about scratchers, though, because I always feel like I'm going to win, and I never win. I think the most I've ever won on a scratcher is like $25. Anyway, scratchers. So this person today buys their scratchers, and then they sit at the window, and they're like not sure about which scratcher they want. They're like, oh, well, can I see that one? Can I see that one? And there's a line forming behind me. There's a line. And so they look back, and they literally say to the line, oh man, guys, you might want to do some more shopping because I got some more scratchers to buy. I don't know about the last part, but they said you might want to do some more shopping. And all of us kind of roll our eyes in line. And the person behind the register was like, yeah, I really need you to move on. He didn't say that, but I could just see it in his face. But this person went forever. And then they decided that they wanted to scratch off in front of the cashier, because they wanted to immediately turn around if it was a winner and get the money for it. So this is the type of guy I'm dealing with. And I know that person is not the person that's around all the time. But I do encounter this when I go into 7-Eleven quite a lot. And this is not a 7-Eleven problem. This is just a customer problem. On the chat, every time at 7-Eleven, just getting a Slurpee. Yeah, it is very annoying. It's very, very annoying. And I try not to look visibly annoyed because I can just tell that people know that I'm kind of angry. And I don't like to be the angry guy. I don't like to look like the angry guy. But this really did boil my blood, or the spirit animal of the Daily Gripe. It really grinds my gears when people do that, especially if it's, if it's someone who's just does not care about what's going on behind you. All right, I've already spent way too much time at the lotto, or talking about the lotto people in the Daily Gripe. But that's it for tonight's show. Thanks everybody who joined us. The Aztecs have taken the lead. I just looked back up. It's halftime at Viejas Arena. The Aztecs lead Wyoming 34-32. So it's going to be kind of tough for them to get to 17.5, but I'm going to cheer for it. Real quick, Brock said, my neighbor worked for the lottery. He said, might as well burn your money. Play scratchers, if anything. Wow. Okay, play scratchers. I do like scratchers. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We will be back tomorrow. We have Brent Sobleski to talk the NFL. We're going to play Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show on the show tomorrow, and we'll have some more fun. Chris will be in a better mood, I think. Make sure you wake up with our station tomorrow, 6 a.m. Ben and Woods get underway. They'll be on YouTube. They'll be on the air. They'll be on the app. You can find them anywhere. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have a good night.